Hello, and thank you for clicking on this video. So I wanted to ask you, do emotions control you or you control emotions? So definitely wanted to bring this one up. And it really starts at childhood. So first of all, and I've said this before, parents, especially when both parents are working or single parents raising kids in today's day, I don't know how you do it. Okay, I don't know how you do it. Um, and I'm not in your shoes, but there's definitely a suggestion I need to make. So even the Bible talks about, you know, basically how you raise your kid. He will take that with him through life. Okay. Um, if you raise him in the light, he will be the light. If you raise him in darkness, he'll be darkness. Now, everyone's got their own choices. Okay. Um, but what the illusion I want to break is like I've seen parents that don't discipline kids and think that's the best thing for the kids. Basically what it is the parents, you don't want to be the bad guy. You want to be the friend. You don't want to be the parent. But let me tell you why it's important to discipline your kids and teach them control of their emotions, discipline at a young age. Okay? Um, so, like, the devil roams the earth like a lion, seeking who he can devour. Okay? And we are emotional. Again, it's not our physical body. It's not. It's we are emotional, like mental. The things we don't see is really what is us. And I mean, the whole marketing advertising industry knows people are motivated by emotions more than like logic. Commercials don't go down the technical specs of trying to prove why their product's better. The whole commercial will be something not even dealing with the product. It's to invoke a feeling inside, and then you associate that feeling with the product, so you feel good about it. That's manipulation. It's manipulation. Okay, it's using what used to be called magic and illusions to influence and control people. Okay, but if like as a kid, and probably most of us didn't even have parents that taught this, we're just doing what we know. Okay, most of us are just doing what we know, what's been done, what was done to us by our parents, and so on. But I want to bring this up to your awareness, because when you do not teach kids how to control emotions, and maybe you have this issue even to this day as an adult, they control you. Okay, it's either one or the other. Okay, and the rulers of darkness use our emotions to manipulate us. And if we don't have self-discipline, awareness, and control of our emotions, then we are easily devoured by Satan, by the devil. We are easily manipulated. And that's a life of torture and pain. Okay? Like I've kind of mentioned this before, like we have a saying, oh, you made me mad, so that's why I went off, and that's why I broke your stuff, or whatever. Okay? No, you control you. Okay? You control you. And yes, emotions are real. It's not like you don't suppress emotions. You don't deny emotions. You don't try to avoid emotions. Okay? You need to face them, but you need to control how you act based upon them. Okay? And this is something I became aware of at a younger age, but man, it's a constant, it's a struggle, it's a daily struggle. You got to pick up your cross daily, and you got to try to keep yourself humble, try to keep your emotions from controlling you, your flesh, your ego from controlling you. Okay, and that's the battle. That's the struggle. And again, are the enemies of darkness. That's what they use to manipulate us. Okay, they scratch that ego. They keep repeat, like if there's a thought that you know something that happened that angered you, but you could get over it, but that thought just keeps on your head in your head. It's those the enemies just keep beating you with it because they know that you can't control it. If they know you can control it, that doesn't even happen. They won't. They're seeking who they can devour. They're not going to waste time if they can't feed darkness off of you. Okay? And this is all real. Okay? I didn't think for a long time until about 2.5 years ago. Like I was thinking around it and everything like that. And like I said, my journey of truth, I call it. But this is real. This is real. And kind of going back to kids, like as parents, you are not setting up your kids to battle the darkness if you don't discipline them. I mean, I see kids ruling the parents, and kids know they can rule the parents. Okay? And I mean, just unruly, no discipline at all. And to be honest, it almost feeds self-centeredness and no respect or consideration for others. And that's setting them up for a lot of pain in life because they're going to be constantly tormented by the rulers of darkness, by demons, by Satan, and they're going to get devoured. Okay? So I'm not saying this for anyone out there to feel bad or anything, but you have to be aware of this because more than likely your parents weren't aware of it. But it is probably one of the most important things you can do for your kids to set them up to be successful, to have a life of less trials and tribulations. If they already overcome that as a kid, if they already start it off, you know, it's harder to change habits when you've already done something all your life. It's harder. Just start them off right as a kid and they'll continue that path. Okay? That's what they know. So, but I wanted to bring this up, you know, do emotions control you or do you control emotions? It takes discipline, it takes work, it takes practice. Okay? So whenever these trials or these moments come up, they're always an opportunity to get stronger. Okay? Don't look at it as, why does all this bad stuff happen to me all the time? Well, look at it as, what's the lesson to learn and how do you need to get stronger? Because there are opportunities to be stronger. You don't get stronger without working out. You don't get better without practicing. And you don't build confidence without doing. Like I've mentioned before, I think in the pain video, we like to avoid pain. We like to try to avoid all that stuff, make things as easy as possible. But that's not what builds strength, experience, and confidence. Okay? And that's what we need to do. We need to do it. Because what's going to happen is if this is part of your purpose to learn a certain lesson and you keep avoiding it, it's going to keep on being there. It's going to keep on coming up. So if you look at something like, why does this keep on happening? Well, you got to look at, are you avoiding it? Are you trying to distract yourself from it? Or are you hitting it head on and you really have to be humble and truthful and authentic with yourself? And it's like, what do I need to do to get back on the right path that God wants me on? What is God trying to tell me here? And again, you need to involve Him. You need to have a relationship with Him. You need to read His Word, and you need to put Him first, because He will lead you. He will. He will. He is the Almighty, and He loves you. He is love. He loves you infinitely. You exist, so He loves you. But I want to bring up this awareness because a lot of people just act on emotions, and they don't even control themselves. They don't control their own lives. They're being led by the rulers of darkness, manipulated by the darkness. And don't do that. Don't do that. But you have to be aware of it, first of all. And the problem is, like even schools, you know, they lack discipline with kids. And if they're setting them up to be devoured by the devil. So don't rely on other people to raise your kids properly. You need to raise, they are your kid. And even though I know today's day and age, I mean, you're getting pulled a dozen different directions all the time, but there's certain things you have to teach your kids. And it's not, I'm not just telling you this for you to feel bad. I'm not saying you've done wrong, that you're doing what the best you could from what you know. But I'm trying to make you aware that that is the best form. It's not letting them do whatever and not discipline them and letting them rule you. You're the parent. You're the parent. But we've gotten generations and generations of this happening that we're just a lost, I mean, we're a lost generation in so many ways. So I just wanted to bring this up. If emotions are controlling you, you have to try to, before you act on emotions, just try to take a second. And what I suggest is thinking about God, thinking about our Lord Jesus Christ. You know, what would Jesus do? That's a good thing to think of. Or just try to think love. I got to be love. You know, our enemies are the rulers of darkness, and they're trying to get me to feed the darkness. And just take a second, take a breather. You control your actions. You have control. And tell yourself you're not going to be controlled. If you've got an ego and pride, twist that around to say, you know what? I'm not going to let the rulers of darkness control me and feed the darkness. I'm going to be the light. And it's not going to, and it takes practice. It does take practice. So try to work on this if you are controlled by emotions. And I think we all are in different triggers, different situations. But it's important to learn discipline and use emotions, face them head on. Don't suppress, don't ignore, don't distract yourself from them. You have to learn to use them, because I've called the emotions fuel. Like when you desire, if you want God in your life, you got to feel it inside. They're the fuel. They're the power. They're like the last video I talked about. If you're just doing religious traditions and doing the motions, but you're really leaving God out. It's not for God. It's just to do them. They're empty. It doesn't matter if you just have your own little traditions with God. That's, if it comes from the heart, that's what's real. That's the fuel. So learn to control the fuel. Don't let it burn out of control. And if you like the video here, please give it a thumbs up. Of course, always comment below, ask questions, share your thoughts, experiences. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and ring-a-ding-a-ling that bell for notifications for whenever I upload videos. And especially after this one, stay strong. Try to stay strong. It takes practice. Don't beat yourself up. Just the next moment, try to prepare yourself for the next moment. And be love, peace, and truth. Try to just focus on that. It's hard enough. That's why we have a whole lifetime to try to learn this stuff, okay? But stay strong and God bless.